तुल्यनिजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्गोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै So we are seeing verse 48, and of course in that one of the definition of Karma Yoga is defined, called Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, sameness towards the result of an action. Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So Siddhi, success, Asiddhi, failure. So the sameness towards, varieties of the situation. Well, it should be developed. Lots of noise. So anyway. So sameness towards the result of an action is Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga has a two aspect: a attitude behind action and attitude towards the result of an action. Two things are there. And Samatvam Yoga Uchyate indicates the attitude towards the result of an action. And that sameness, etc. is, of course, it may be a pragmatic attitude, but then we are looking Karma Yoga as a attitude behind towards the result of an action as a devotee's attitude. It's a prayerful attitude, etc. So definitely then Ishvara has to be taken into account, and Ishvara is a karma phala data. We appreciate it. We have that background knowledge of Ishvara, and with the help of that, definitely we take in the whole creation is non-separate from the Ishvara, that is creator, and well, definitely all the laws also are non-separate from Ishvara, and definitely so whatever situation occurring in your life as a result of an action, well, definitely it is coming from Ishvara. And if it is coming from Ishvara, well, it is looked upon as a prasada. And we have a sameness in our mind towards prasada. If the same object is not a prasada, not coming from the altar of Ishvara, then we have a different attitude. We have attitude of likes and dislikes. And definitely we may like a object, we may not like. But when prasada is there, even it has happened that the prasada, otherwise I would not take such an object. Well, sir, I may hate a particular thing. But when it comes in a prasada, I definitely take it. So that shows that this attitude definitely curtails ragadvesha. And so that attitude should be cultivated towards various situations in our life. And definitely then you can handle our ragadveshas properly. And that is the only motive. Karma Yoga's only motive is to prepare our mind, which is free from the hold of, not free from ragadvesha, free from the hold of ragadvesha. You can continue. You can continue the hate. You can continue to hate certain things, and you can continue to like certain things. It's good. So if you hate something, then the other person likes it, and it will be available to that person. And therefore, otherwise, each person will like one particular thing, then definitely there will be a shortage. So it's good. So you continue, but then definitely you will not, even in absence, the particular object which you hate is there in your life or in a given situation. Well, you do not get perturbed. That's all it means. Or you like a particular thing, it is not with you. Well, then even you don't see a distant possibility also that you may get, then you don't get you don't get disturbed. That's the only thing is required. That's all the Karma Yoga is mean. Then you are definitely qualified for the Jnanam, because your mind basically is free from the agitation. Agitation created by likes and dislikes. So don't think by Karma Yoga is a very, very big thing, etc. We have to develop a attitude, and definitely the knowledge of Ishvara is very, very essential. Without that, this attitude won't be there. And so definitely one should have that attitude. Anyway, so and here we have pulled that other definition also from verse 50, that is Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. And Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam means Kaushalam here we have seen, well, one who is able to interpret his or her to be done actions in terms of dharma. It really requires a big interpretation, and I will give you some instances later. So he is able to interpret his or her to be done activities or actions in terms of dharma. Well, we say he has a kaushalam. So that kind of an expertise, if you say expertise, kaushalam is an expertise, etc., efficiency, this is the efficiency required. And then not only to able to interpret, but then one should conform to that dharma also. That is also required. So definitely that is kaushalam. And kaushalam, as I told you, it's kushalasya bhavaha. So the person is called kushalaha, expert. Interpreting and conforming to dharma, etc. And his state of mind or his disposition is called kaushalam. Kushalasya bhavaha kaushalam. It's an abstract noun made from the word kushalaha. And then we have taken that example, etc. And that person definitely, that the person who, he wants to rob his neighbor, etc. Well, we have to tell him that he must conform to dharma, even though basically his likes and dislikes prompt him to do otherwise. Because if someone wanted to rob him, how would he take it? So if someone he would not allow it. So which means that he should not rob his neighbor's property, etc. So he should not rob anyone else, and because it's a wrong action. So in a creation, there is something called right and wrong universally. That's what I want to convey. There is something called right and wrong universally. Of course, that is common, but then of course in that also there is an interpretation required, because any law, that's a law, that this is right, this is wrong. Even the constitution also says the same thing. This is right, this is wrong. So conformity to the constitution of India or United States, whatever it may be, in conformity, if you behave, they say it is a right action. If you behave contrary to that, they say it's a wrong action. And if it is a wrong action, contrary to the constitution, etc., well, then definitely one is punished. So what my point is, so this is also constitution. And this constitution has been given to every human being, basically. It has been given. So it's not that a copy of I require a copy of a constitution. Sir, it is there in your head. Where there is a choice, there itself that is pasted by Ishvara. And therefore, one ignores it, one doesn't try to see the copy, that's a different issue. That's due to pressure of a raga dvesha. That's one thing. But here Karma Yogi is one who refers, before choosing an action, he refers to that constitution which is in the head. And that is commonly sensed by every individual. Commonly sensed. It is called common sense ethics. Pujya Swamiji calls it as a common sense ethics. So conformity to something universally right and wrong is ethical life. But Karma Yoga is more than that, of course, because here, we are going to look upon that. We will see that also. So Dharma is looked upon as a Ishvara, because it's also law of Dharma. Anyway, so simple living ethical, there are several people. Several Gandhians were there at the time of Gandhiji and later also, who survived the death of Gandhi. Well, they were living a moral life, called ethical life, conforming to basically what is right and wrong. And apart from it, still they are not Karma Yogis. Definitely not. Karma Yogi is something who is a devotee. He is a bhakta basically. And definitely, therefore Ishvara is there. His karma, his result of and karma, all are connected to Ishvara. Karma also as an offering to Ishvara, result of an action is taken as a prasada, etc., etc. So all the time in karma and karma phala, both, he all the time associates to Ishvara. One who associates with Ishvara is a devotee. Anyway, so but more or less, fortunately, in today's society also, we see the society is not that confused, and basically, so there is an order in the world even today, which is why we are able to live very peacefully. And one beautiful thing which I forgot yesterday to tell is, in United States I have seen very wonderful thing is, there are no gates or no fences. Why? There are no fences, there are no gates. In India you cannot imagine this. You can't imagine. You cannot keep your property open like that. But I don't find here anywhere, because there is dharma. How can you say, Swamiji, there is dharma? Because since there are boundaries, that people seem to follow. That's how you don't put a fence. You somehow sense that the other person will remain in the remain in the boundary of dharma, and he will not encroach my property, etc. Somehow that trust is there. But it's not that, don't think that people have that kind of idea, even if he encroaches, I can take care of him. No, not that. You keep open. It looks also very beautiful. If the boundaries, etc. are there, it doesn't look somehow good. But so, I am really impressed with this, that you keep your boundaries open, because you somehow know that the other person, your neighbor, will not encroach take your land, etc. So this is how, that shows that you have a trust that the other person is going to follow dharma. That's how you have the trust that the other person is going to follow dharma. And that is how we commonly sense this kind of a thing. And that's so this is how the society more or less live very happily, very peacefully. There is order in the society. So we should not say that there is no dharma, etc. Well, there is a dharma, but this because a given, a person might have abused a choice because of it's tremendous pressure of likes and dislikes, raga dvesha. So he might have abused a power of a choice. That's there. That is definitely there. But society at large, everyone is, abusing his power of choice, etc. We should not see that. And that's how I have given an example of this. Not putting fences, etc. is an example for that. Anyway, so the man, who robes this, wants to robe his neighbor, has to be told like this, that he must conform to dharma, even though his likes and dislikes prompt him to do otherwise. So then what happens to likes and dislikes then? If you attach yourself If you, I mean, your choice as a human being, if you attach to dharma and adharma, constitution, then what happens to likes and dislikes which are within? Well, they are curtailed at the level of action itself. Definitely they are going to be curtailed, and so they must be all the time, because you are aligning with dharma and adharma. You means you as a human being who has a will, who has a free will. Well, definitely you have decided to align with dharma and adharma, and therefore your likes and dislikes are just lingering. They do not have any support. Your choice can be backed by your likes and dislikes, or your choice can be backed by dharma and adharma constitution. And what happens generally is, what I am supposed to do I don't like, and what I am not supposed to do I like. In most of the things, starting from eating, starting from getting up, every time, most of the time, I would like to use my choice, use my free will, based on my likes and dislikes. I would like to go by my likes and dislikes. I would like to be in line with my likes and dislikes. And that is how they have flourished very well in my head. And these are they have flourished. And well, now you have decided that you will definitely, this is your kaushalam, that you have decided that I will go by universal norm. What I don't want from others, to do towards me, I should not do towards others. You decide that, and that is universal norm, which is of course sensed by you and which is sensed by everyone. But you were till today you were not obliged to follow that. You are going by your likes and dislikes. Now you go by your, you go by this dharma or adharma. Then this lingering likes and dislikes, well, which are not in conformity with dharma and adharma. Dharma and adharma and likes and dislikes will not go together. If any person's whose like is in keeping with dharma and whose dislike is in keeping with adharma, that person has not to attend these classes. Really speaking, he is a spontaneous person, because what he is supposed to do he likes, what he is not supposed to do he dislikes. Wow, what a wonder! But you will always find, but Swamiji, how will I know that whether I am a spontaneous person or not? Well, if spontaneity is there, conflict would not be there. If conflict is there, spontaneity would not be there. And conflict is between what I am supposed to do and what I like, what I am not supposed to do and what I like or dislike. There is a conflict there. That's how many people, whenever we talk about this kind of a thing, they say, Swamiji, in fact, our conflict have arrived. Now it has become more. Because we have started that we should go by likes and, no, we should go by dharma and adharma and not by likes and dislikes. So and then you said you become a spontaneous person. But you cannot become a spontaneous person within a day. Because you have to tackle your likes and dislikes, which have become very strong, because you only have nourished them. So your choice was always based on likes and dislikes, and that's how they have flourished. Whatever they have demanded, your likes and dislikes, likes and dislikes are desire. So definitely you fulfill desire. The desire is like they always compare the desire with a fire. So more you put the a fuel in the fire, like a ghee or etc., whatever, then it is not going to tell that it's enough. That's how one of the name of fire is analam. Analam means na alam vidyate iti analam. So na alam. Alam means enough. Fire will never tell you this is enough. I am satisfied. It will never tell. Drums and drums of ghee, if you pour into that, his tongue is becoming more and more powerful. It opens its tongue. And earlier 2 tongues were there, now 7 tongues it will open. If you put more ghee, it will open more tongues. Anyway, that's how it is. So likes and dislikes means our desire or kamaha, they have flourished through our choice. And we have tried to, and choice and then actions, we have tried to fulfill our likes and dislikes. And today you decide that I know. Now I will go via what is right and wrong universally. I will not go what I like or what I dislike. Then definitely there is going to be a conflict. That's an initial conflict. And once these likes and dislikes, basically, you don't follow them, you don't join them, they rise and they die a natural death. There is no one to claim them because you have no connection with them. Then you find there is a spontaneity. You find basically what is supposed to be done you like, and what is not supposed to be done you don't like. You will see that. And then such a spontaneity is there. Spontaneity means there is a harmony in the mind. There is no conflict. That's enough. For such a person, moksha is just, a handful, a hand away, or what you say in English, I don't know. So it's very near. Because his mind is in harmony with himself. Ultimately, the person who is a wise person also is like that. Atmani eva atmana tushta. One who is satisfied with himself. One who is in total harmony with oneself. One who has no complaint with regards to oneself. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Atmani eva atmana tushta. Well, that is how it is. Anyway, so this karma yoga is basically make you person this ultimately free from hold of likes and dislikes. So you only go by what is right and wrong, and to choose what is right, what is wrong, your choice has to have a base in that, and then you are able to conform to that also, what is right, of course, and then definitely you have a kaushala. And so if I summarize what we have done, we have a two-part definition for Karma Yoga, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate and Yoga Karma Kaushalam. And so with reference to the result of our action, there is a Samatvam, sameness, means in our response. And gaining this attitude of Samatvam, depends upon the recognition of Ishvara as the Karma Phaladata. If you recognize Ishvara as a Karma Phaladata for sure, if you have that clarity, then definitely this Karma Yoga, as sameness towards the result of an action will be more. If you could not appreciate, of course, that Ishvara is a Karma Phaladata, I don't think this sameness, etc., in a given situation we can bring. In our response to the situation, the sameness we cannot bring if we don't recognize this. Anyway, but if we are sure that that's a Shraddha, and it's an understanding basically. It's an understanding, it's a vision by itself. Like we have vision of the self, this is also vision regarding karma. And that vision regarding karma, is based on the vision of Ishvara as a Karma Phaladata. Anyway, so whatever result you gain, then the laws do not cheat you in any way. So as a Karma Yogi, you have the same attitude towards both desirable and undesirable result of our actions. So that's called Karma Phale Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So we are sure one thing is in our mind, it is very sure. What is that? Well, we are sure that the laws which I have not made, the laws in the creation which are nothing but the Ishvara, they do not cheat me. They do not cheat me. So whatever has come appropriate. It is an appropriate thing, and then I accept it with a certain gratitude, and that is we have seen attitude of a prasada. And that is prasada itself is called grace of Ishvara, and that generally we don't use the word grace, because grace means some kind of a very subtle connotation appears in our mind. Grace means something which is very subtle and it flows through, etc. Nothing of that sort. A given situation in which all gross things are also there, we call it as a prasada. That is how in our culture a boy's name also is given as a prasada, etc. So everything is prasada for us, and therefore a boy means, or a child, whatever is prasada means, then definitely that shows that this grace is nothing called something which is very, very subtle from the Ishvara. It is coming in terms of in a packets or something. It is nothing like that. Prasada means this kind of a thing. A given situation comes by law, and no law cheats me. All the laws are there in the creation. They are most appropriate laws. Well, and those laws are definitely for the well-being of all the living beings in the creation. And therefore, whatever has come through these laws, shaped by these laws, definitely is appropriate. And therefore, there is a different attitude, and that is sameness of the behind towards the result of an action. That is regarding result of an action. And then with reference to action itself, because there is a choice involved. So as a karma yogi, you exercise your choice based on norms. And norms means a common norms, which you also, I need not have to teach you, you need not have to teach me, or someone else other than both of us has to not to teach. Not even Shastra has to teach. You must be born with that norm. And you must be able to sense also. That is a commonly sense norm. So then that is called dharma. And these norms are indicated by the rules of dharma and adharma. They are universal, common to all. Samanya dharma we call. And then conformity with that, you do action. You choose your action based on that. That is also karma yoga. So that's what we have seen so far this karma yoga is concerned. Now, one more thing I would like to tell in this is, see, every law, now this is basically, norm means it's a law of dharma basically. So every law has an exception because no one has ever made a law, including Bhagavad, because without there being an exception. Even Bhagavad has made a law, has an exception. How can you say something? A human being has made a law and put in the constitution, and there are so many, they will show that these are the exceptions into that. So we feel because the human being has a less knowledge, and therefore whatever law he makes, there will be definitely some exceptions into that. That is correct. But even Ishvara has made a law, and in that also there are exceptions. The law of gravitation has an exception, definitely. The law of gravitation work in a particular paradigm, and or in a particular area. So it works here. If you go to the space, you cannot. So here, if you put a piece of a groundnut, if you put like this, it directly goes into your mouth. But in space, suppose our Sunita Williams, if she puts like this, well, it may not go here. It may go on this side, it may go on the other side, or it may go up, we don't know. So, but what I am saying is, in space there is no gravitation. So law of gravitation, universal, correct. But there is an exception. So if you go to moon, law of gravitation is there, but then it has a different intensity. If you go to Jupiter, it has more intensity. You cannot lift even your leg. I have heard so. You cannot walk. Where is the question of lift? You cannot walk. So because you cannot able to lift your leg, because your leg is pulled so much. The gravitation is so high. So any universal law, including even Bhagavan's law, has an exception, and therefore this is also a universal law of dharma, commonly sensed by all, correct, but it has an exception. So and that's why it requires a kaushalam, it requires an interpretation, and therefore definitely in a given situation, in morning our friend was asking a question, I did not answer much, but it is there. It's like, you suppose, now let's discuss that point. The question was that suppose if I don't abide by a law called dharma, so I do some kind of I have a choice, and based on that I have chosen something wrong for the sake of others, like telling lie for the sake of others. Will it be okay or not? Well, I said it is wrong, but it can be right also. It can be right. Swamiji, that's what we don't trust you. What I'm saying, what I want to convey is, it depends upon a given situation. You just tell lie for someone's sake means it is right. You won't incur papam. I cannot tell that way. Suppose, I will tell you now. Suppose you tell a lie for the sake of others, in which if you tell a truth about that person, the person's life will be in danger. Suppose. Then definitely for the sake of his life, if you speak lie, well, definitely you are right. even though it is wrong. To speak lie is wrong. In this given situation, after interpretation, it is right. It's the right thing. Like, I will give you another example. If you remember, we have discussed before few classes Samanya Dharma, Vishesha Dharma and Apad Dharma. All this kind of discussion is in Dharma Shastra, that is Smritis, and that too mainly Manusmriti. Other Smritis, Yajnavalkya, etc., Parashar Smriti, all these discussions are there. Basically, Smriti's discussion is these do's and don'ts only, mainly. Other than that, also there are Manusmriti has many things, including even Brahma Jnanam also, there are few things in that. But basically, and Smriti has a base in the Shruti. But there is a Apad Dharma. Apad means, the meaning of the word Apad means, some kind of a calamity or problem, a very difficult situation. That's called Apad. No, so in a given difficult situation, in a particular difficult situation, well, if what is generally considered as a right, universally considered as a right, can be violated. I will give you another example. That's what I heard. And that suppose a person is hungry for many days, and now he is not able to remain hungry because his life will be in danger. And that person either steals, robs, whatever he does is considered right. That's what the thing is. So this is Apad Dharma. So you generally, you should not violate this common sense ethics code, which is universal, sensed by all. That's correct. But in a given situation, if such a thing is there, either your life is in danger because you have not got food, or somebody's life in danger but you don't have food, but you have to steal somebody's food so that you can feed that person. Everything is right. So that is why the interpretation of this universal dharma is very important. And this, after interpretation, what I have told you, these are the exceptions to that universal law, right? In which what is generally considered as a right here, what is generally considered as a wrong, is considered right. To cheat generally is not a right thing, definitely, because it's a universal. I should not cheat someone else because I don't want to be cheated, etc., and therefore universal norm, common sense ethics, whatever. But in a given situation, suppose you have to cheat some person because if you don't cheat, he is not going to get the food, etc., and his life is in danger. In a very critical situation, sometimes if you violate, either for yourself, please understand, not for the sake of others, even for yourself or for the sake of others, still it is considered as a right. And I can give you an example of a traffic law. Like I think here you should go. You should go on right here. That's how it is. Generally, you should drive a car right inside. I don't know, so let you take it that. So, and you are driving, so you are going by law. But one big truck is coming from the opposite side it is coming on your side from the opposite direction. So he is on the wrong direction. Now if you stick on to that, well, I have to follow the law. I cannot go on the left hand side, and therefore let it happen whatever it happens. In the process, you will also lose life, and perhaps the other person also may lose life. Well, now in such a situation, when even whatever happens to you, you are ready for that, for the sake of dharma. But then other person also may be affected. In that case, you definitely take a left turn and again comes to right. And suppose a police officer is there, and then definitely he will not tell you, oh, you did a very good thing. He will not give you an award, I'm sure. But he will not give you a ticket also. He will give ticket to that other person, that truckwala. He will give a ticket to that because he was coming in a wrong direction. And therefore, he will be fined. You will not be fined because even though you have gone wrong. Could you follow what I am saying? So, in a given situation where extreme situations are there, then definitely what is generally considered as a wrong is considered right. And that is called Apad Dharma. And so, after interpretation of universal Dharma, Samanya Dharma, well, whatever we comes to, we call it as a Vishesha Dharma. And Puja Swamiji's very beautiful example, that also I remember now. You know, the knife in the hand of two people. You can remember. Knife in the hand of a robber and knife in the hand of a surgeon. And definitely both are as though hurting the other's body. But still one is considered as a dharma. In others, when the other one, what he is doing, hurting others, is considered as a adharma. So definitely. So we say generally after interpretation of the Samanya Dharma, what is to be done, etc., is considered as a Vishesha Dharma. And in that Vishesha Dharma also, if after interpretation you find that if I don't do something wrong, then either my life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger, well then definitely you do something which is, you follow something, you choose something which is otherwise called Samanya Dharma, but it is considered here as a dharma, which is generally wrong. But you do it here, and that is called, which is adharma, generally wrong. Well, here it is taken as a right. So we have to understand this thing very well. So it depends. So doing bad, and I'd say advantage of like a few thousand rupees or something for others' benefit. Can I tell lie or not? Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. Because that's not a norm, that you cannot choose that way. No, but I'm not, for my sake I'm not doing, for others' sake I'm doing. No, that also still not. In a very, very different situations only you are supposed to do, and that is how we are doing. That's how we are doing. Even that's how I given you example of a traffic rule that generally was wrong to go on the left side, but considered right. Not by you it is right, even by the police it is right. Otherwise he would have given you a ticket, but he does not give you ticket. Why? Even though you are supposed to go in a right side and you still have gone to the left side in his presence itself, still you are not given a ticket. Why? Because he knows. Otherwise the life would be in danger. So definitely, and your life also could be in danger because you may be driving a truck. Here I have heard people themselves drive a truck and go from one state to other state and etc., packing all luggage and everything. Well, whatever it may be. And the other person is driving a small vehicle, and you are on the right side, but the other person is coming from the wrong side and in the same way, in the same direction, but from the opposite side. Then definitely, if you don't go in a wrong direction, well, the other person, you may not get hurt, but then that person will, or his family will be crushed. So this is, so we have to interpret properly. That is what Bhagavan says, Kaushalam. Karmasu Kaushalam is this. You have a choice in action, but choose as per universal norm. But okay, universal norm is this, and therefore let me choose that way, but better interpret. And that interpretation requires expertise, proper understanding of dharma, etc. That is what Kaushalam is. And not only understanding, and then have a courage to conform to dharma. That also is there. The one who can do that is a karma yogi. And of course, still this is not a karma yogi. Well, it is further. Dharma is looked upon as a manifestation of Ishvara. Well, we will see that. So this is regarding certain exceptions also. And now we have to, so Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma, or even Vishesha Dharma, little ahead is Apada Dharma, should always be the governing factors when exercising your choice with reference to a given action. So definitely you cannot, but one thing is there, you cannot go by Ragadvesha, definitely. It's in your advantage that you don't support Ragadveshas which are present in your mind. And generally they keep moving, as I told you. There are three places where they are there. They hide basically because they are Shatrus, they are enemies, and therefore they hide. And that one is Indriyani Manaha Buddhi. Indriyani Manobuddhi Asya Adhisthana Muchyate. Bhagavan said in verse 40 of chapter 3. So we cannot go by Ragadvesha alone. And so when we will definitely go by Dharma and not by Ragadvesha. So you are living an ethical life. Still it is an ethical life, not Karma Yogi. But but the yoga begins when you bring Ishvara into your life. So when Ishvara is taken into account, looking upon the universal norm as a Ishvara, because that's a law of Dharma. Well, every law is his law or his manifestation, being the creation being non-separate, etc. And well, we will look into that now. So now we'll have to see what is this role of Ishvara in Karma Yoga. For that we will take one verse of 18th chapter which beautifully says regarding now, and that definitely role of Ishvara in Karma Yoga means role of Ishvara in terms of action. With result of an action we have already seen that, so we will not have to see much in that. But conforming to universal dharma means conforming to Ishvara. So by conforming to Ishvara means I am in harmony with the Ishvara. That's what it means. I am in conformity to Ishvara means I am in harmony with the Ishvara, and that should bring a joy, and it brings a joy. It brings a joy. I will talk about that. So yatah pravuttir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tamapyarcha siddhim vindati manava. This is very well quoted words by most of the acharyas at many places, including Bhashyakara also. And this is verse 46 in 18th chapter, which really talks about Karma Yoga with respect to action. So here it has, we'll have to see first, we have of course seen this. The Lord is not only the creator, but also the creation. And therefore the creation is non-separate from Ishvara, who is efficient and material cause of the creation. So no product is basically separate from that material of which the creation is made. So therefore what is meant by Ishvara is, well, creation is non-separate from the creator. Now when we say this, because Ishvara is basically material of the creation, and material can never be separate from the creation, and therefore creation as such is non-separate from the creator Ishvara. That's there. But then the creator on the other hand, that's one more step. The creator on the other hand is independent of the creation, in the sense that even without the creation, the creator remains. And at the time of dissolution, of course, for example, the entire creation goes back to Ishvara, who alone remains. So you please, I should not remind you. You should remember that, the whole creation is a manifestation of a Maya. As I have told you, Maya alone manifests, and Maya is non-separate from the Ishvara. Therefore, creation also is non-separate from the Ishvara, while the whole creation again goes back to the unmanifest. That is Maya, and that is non-separate from Ishvara. And therefore, it is clear that the creation resolves into Ishvara. Ishvara means that Brahman plus Maya. That's what the creation is. That is what we call it as Ishvara. So the entire creation goes back to Ishvara, who alone remains. So then, but that's okay. But can we understand with some example? Yeah, the dream world also is like that. So dream world you create, without which, of course, you remain as you are. Like you go into the deep sleep state. So the whole dream creation resolves into you, and still you remain, right? And therefore, basically, the creator of the dream world is independent of the creation. So creation doesn't remain, still the creator remains. We will not call it as a creator, but anyway, the Ishvara will remain. Same way, just as I remain in a deep sleep state, or I remain in a waker, as a waker. But the whole dream creation has resolved to me. And the whole dream creation is nothing but I am the material cause, I am the efficient cause of the dream creation. And that whole dream creation is nothing but the dreamer itself. But then the whole dream creation resolves, and still I remain. The creator remains. So same way, this creation also is not separate from the creator, the Lord. Now anything in this world, now we'll also discuss a little bit of Ishwar Srushti, Jiva Srushti, because that's also some of the questions we have. So anything in this world, that is naturally created can be looked upon as a Ishvara Srushti. So just as anything, we say when a human being makes, we call it as a Jiva Srushti. Like I make a tap, I make a window, I make a door, I make a house, like that. So we say that is a Jiva Srushti. But it's not correct, we'll see that. And what is naturally created, like elements and this, the body and even the trees and everything, like mountains and oceans. What is naturally created, we say that is Ishvara Srushti, and these doors and windows and all these things and house, etc., on the mobile and everything that human being has created, therefore that is Jiva Srushti. Well, that is not correct. What is Jiva Srushti, I will tell you. Because why we call it as Jiva Srushti? Like this, we call it as a Jiva Srushti, because a human being has created. The reason behind that is that our free will is involved in that. And therefore, however, there is some truth in that my effort is there, my will is there. Therefore, I say it is a creation of me. As a human being, it's a creation of me. But if you look into a little more aspects of this particular creation, you will find that it is not true. In fact, basically most of the things involved in this are not created by me. Most of the things. And even there is a possibility that I can put together, and so that it can function in a particular way, calling others and everything. Well, that possibility is a law. That law I have not created. That if these components are made and if they are joined together, they will function in this way. That's a law which is not created by the human being. It's a law available in the creation. And therefore, basically, most of the things, even though most of the components are made by a human being, which are used in this mobile. Those components are made from basically from some raw material. Which raw material? Well, it is available in the creation. And therefore, definitely, from the earth, basically, some metals and everything. But Swamiji, we have purified the metals. Anyway, the earth, from the very earth itself, where the raw materials are there, is not created by you. After bringing the raw materials in a ore form, etc., and then there is a possibility that you can clean it. That's a law. That law also you have not created. And then the human body, which can, the human mind, which can, understand the law, etc., is not created by me. Then the mind cannot function independently. It has to be in this body. No subtle body alone cannot function. That's what I used to tell, that people used to think that even though he has given up the body, Swamiji, but he may be seeing from somewhere in the room or somewhere from outside. That Jiva must be seeing us. He cannot see. He cannot hear. They say after the death of a person, they are talking about the person, suppose. Then they say, don't talk. The Jiva must be here. For 13 days he will remain here. And so he will listen, he will be very unhappy that we are criticizing, etc. So definitely don't think. He can't listen, he can't think, he can't do anything. So anyway, and definitely, so the mind, etc., also is not, it's not, subtle body is not my creation. And then the gross body, where it has to be situated so that it can function, it can transact. Well, that gross body also I have not created. And the potential in the mind, human mind, that it can understand the laws, scientific laws, physical laws, well, that is also not created by the human being. That's a possibility in the creation. All the way, the laws are not created by me. The materials are ultimate materials are not created by me. What is my creation? Definitely, that's just your will is there to make a phone, and you have put some efforts. If you think into efforts, you will find that effort also is a Ishvara's grace. Ishvara has given that, a very effort also Ishvara has given. Anyway, so you come to see that your so-called your creation, Jiva Srushti, depends upon many aspects which are not created by you. And in fact, nothing is really created by you. Although, and I will tell you what is Jiva Srushti. So for the time being, we can assume that there is such a thing as a Jiva Srushti. But Jiva Srushti is basically only two things we have created. And that is due to ignorance. Ignorance, that's our upadhi. And therefore, Jiva, same Ishvara, from the ignorance standpoint is called Jiva. And once ignorance is there, the two things are created. Through ignorance, the Ishvara is called now Jiva. And then it will create two things out of ignorance. What? One is ahankara and the other is mamakara. Just a notion. The notion that I am the body. Please understand. Body does not belong to me. But the notion that this is my body is your creation. The notion, well, you cannot call this as a I also. The I sense itself is a Ishvara's creation, understand that. But then I sense continues with, due to ignorance, that in the body, I am the body, I am the mind, I am senses. That notion, please understand, that notion is a Jiva Srishti. The notion that this is my house, my this, well, that notion is a Jiva's creation. And that is why, but how can you call it is Jiva's creation? That all, you say that also is Ishvara's creation. Hey, if it is Ishvara's creation, they will not tell you that you remove that notion. If it is Ishvara's creation, it would not tell you. Whatever is Ishvara's creation, you cannot destroy. You can't destroy. It is not in your hand. That's what we discussed in the morning. Ishvara's creation means through the Prarabdha you got this body, etc. You cannot destroy. And therefore, no, but let me destroy. Then you will be behind the bars. Definitely. You will be behind the bars. Anything in the creation, you don't have a right to destroy. Honestly speaking. You can't put anything to the death. Well, of course, if we definitely take a freedom. No, in my room there was some mosquitoes and so I killed them. Well, it's okay. Then the local laws will not put you behind the bars. But you should understand that there is a universal law of karma. You cannot get rid of it. No one can get rid of it. So one should remember this thing. In Ishvara's creation, anything you destroy, you will have to pay the price. Not today, tomorrow. And therefore, still our Shastra keeps on telling you, remove that. What? Remove the notions. Means that is Jiva Srishti. That is the Jiva Srishti. That is the one which you can remove by your will. That's your creation. Well, behind my creation, my will be there. That's my creation. Well, and behind God's will, whatever is there, that's God's creation. And therefore, definitely, behind my will, whatever is there, this notion is there, based on ignorance, that you can destroy. And that's what Ishvara says, I will not take the responsibility. That you have to destroy. You can take my help, definitely, but you can pray to me also, but definitely you have to destroy. But what about Ragadvesha? That's what they say. So you also, that you can destroy. Ragadvesha is not, our Ragadvesha is not basically Ishvara's creation. We only have, because the choice is given to me, free will is there, and based on that, the Ragadveshas have arisen. Out of ignorance, of course, a sense of lack will be there, and therefore a desire will be there, and then I will fulfill the desire, and then from there will be vasanas, etc. And then from there, definitely Ragadveshas, matlab I born, and from there the new desire. Anyway, so ultimately, whatever is based on ignorance, whatever is created from the ignorance, well, same Brahman, through ignorance becomes a jiva, appears as a jiva. And once the ignorance is say upadhi, well, Ragadvesha, etc., and the notions, I sense and mind sense, ahankara, mamakara, etc., well, that you can get rid of. And that is Jiva Srishti. Once that is gone, then what remains is Ishvara Srishti. Then Ragadvesha won't be there. No, the Ragadveshas will be there. Then why right now you say Ragadveshas will go? So Ragadvesha will be there. But you won't say that this is my liking and this is my dislike, etc. They are there in the mind. They don't bother you. That's what I mean. If Ragadveshas bother you, definitely you need a Karma Yoga. If Ragadveshas do not bother you, it's a Ishvara Srishti. Why should you bother? Even before few classes I have told you, people have such a concept in their mind. They equate even moksha in terms of a state of a mind, disposition of mind. If I am free from total likes and dislikes, I am liberated. People think that way. And that is, they are on a trip now. Because they are doing, on the one hand, they are doing lot of Shravana Mananam, etc. And all the time feeling, having a prejudice that, I am not up to the mark. this listening is not effective to me, etc., because I am having Raga Dvesha. Swamiji, I all the time listen everything, but it is not that effective. Why? Because still I am having Raga Dvesha. You are having Raga Dvesha, or mind is mind is having, but that is me. Oh, then you start with Tattva Bodha again, no problem. So please understand, Ishwar, every thought is basically a Raga Dvesha, like a thought of a like, or thought of a dislike, or thought of any negative emotion, thought of a positive emotion, everything is Ishvara. He has made a mind and to think, and so various thoughts will be there, senses will be there, hunger, thirst will be there, then gross body is there, the function of the gross body will be there, various organs are there, everything will be there, and they will keep doing till their law of karma, etc., prarabdha is there, they will function. But my point is, ultimately what is a Jeev Srishti is this much. Don't claim anything that Swamiji, you look at the wonder of the human being. Go and to New York and see what that World Trade Center was. No, some now new name they have given. Anyway, so look at the creation. Yes, sir. The whole structure is standing on that earth itself. That earth is created by the Ishvara, and the law by which they remains together. That law is Ishvara, and all materials try to see in everything. No, Swamiji, that cement, etc. is all we have made. But the basic raw material has come from the earth. Everything has come from the earth. This is the ego. Please understand. If you claim anything in this creation, in this universe as your creation, it is nothing but the ego. Nothing belongs to you. This is a devotee's attitude. This is devotee's attitude, that including this body is Ishvara's ownership. Everything is created by Ishvara. That is God's will. My body is God's will. And my will is basically this much. And to have that notion, that's all. And then I should have a will or a choice to remove those notions. That is the Jeev Srishti. I should have a will to remove the Jeev Srishti in light of the Vedanta. So anyway, so this is how we have to look into this thing. So, and now the further is basically the laws of this creation are not separate from the creator. Well, we'll have to discuss a little bit in this, and we'll discuss that part and finish Karma Yoga tomorrow. Yes. So this is, we'll decide tomorrow. We'll talk something more about it tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.